Hello. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we are going to be making this, I'm calling it a shawl, so this long sleeve shawl dress, which is perfect for winter and just perfect for the holidays. It will make an amazing Christmas dress, an amazing New Year's dress. But anyway, I absolutely love this dress and my friends love it too. They want me to make them this dress in different colors and I'm looking forward to it. Now, I do want to say this is a sew along video. I'm going to show you how to be stitching this dress because you probably have bought my pattern on Etsy. I will not be showing you how I draft the dress. I'm showing you how to sew the PDF pattern that you bought on Etsy. Now this is your PDF pattern. What you're going to do is as you scroll through your PDF, you'll notice a little section that says the layout of this PDF pattern. This shows you exactly how all of your pages need to be put together to assemble your PDF pattern. Now it also we also do have layers printing available, which means that you can print one size, two sizes, three sizes. You can print any size that you want, and you want to make sure that you're printing at 100% scale or actual size. And the most important thing, guys, is you want to trim off the right side of your pattern as well as the bottom of your pattern, and then you're going to overlap it with your next page, right? So this is what the layout of your pattern will look like. You are going to need 4-way stretch fabric, 50 to 70%. Don't go more than 70%. And also remember, your seam allowance has already been included. It's 1/2 inch. Here are my pattern pieces. I've got 2 back pieces, a shawl, and also I have my sleeves. Now my sleeves are off shoulder. So, and I'm also going to be using some elastic. The reason why I use elastic is because I want my off shoulder to fit nice and snug and tight. That's why I'm using my elastic. If you don't want to use elastic, you don't have to, but I 100% recommend that you do. Now I'm going to start off with my sleeves. The sleeves are super simple, super quick. We're just folding them right sides together and we are just going to stitch that side seam. If you are using a sewing machine, this is a straight stitch, a simple straight stitch will do the trick. But if you are using a serger, if you have a serger, I'm just going to go ahead and just straight stitch with my sewing machine, and then I'm going to jump to my serger and then finish my edges or overlock my edges or serge my edges. Anyway, so there I go on my serger. I love how the chaining that's caused by the serger, it looks very neat and very professional and very store bought. But you don't need this if you don't have it. So now let's just go ahead and make that, those loose threads super neat. We're taking our loop turner, we're putting it under our chain, and then we are pulling the loose chain under there. This makes your work so much neater, and also we don't want to cut too close, because if we have to cut it shorter, we run the risk of everything just unraveling and then making a huge mess. That's why we're just tucking it under there. Yes, the day that I discovered this trick was the day that it just changed my life. I've been doing this every day since then. So now we're done with our sleeves, set them aside, and let's just quickly run and work on our actual dress. Now for our dress, this is what we're going to do. We are going to put those 2 pieces right sides together, the front and the back, and I want to warn you that your back piece may seem like it is slightly longer than your front piece. Do not be alarmed. All you have to do is match up the notches, and you're going to have to ease your front piece into your back piece. The most important thing is just matching up those side notches. Now this is me going in with my straight stitch. You want to set, for this part, you want to set your stitch to the longest stitch length available, because this is just a basting stitch. But remember, if you do not have a serger, right, what you want to do is for one of the sides, you are going to go ahead and just stitch like how you normally would. Don't do a basting stitch. Set your stitch length to about 2.5 millimeters or whatever, and then stitch those side seams. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to my serger and I'm just going to finish these. I'm going to overlock my edges. So what I'm doing is I'm just going in on one side, one of my seam allowances, and as you can see, I'm not cutting off any excess fabric because I'm going to be using that to stitch my slit. So then I'm going ahead and doing the other side also, and then on the side where I will not be adding a slit, I'm just going to put those two seam allowances together, and I'm going to trim off the excess and just stitch all the way down. Now I'm gonna run to my ironing board and I'm gonna set everything, and I'm just gonna open that seam and just set it down with an iron, press it down with an iron, and then I am going to work on hemming the dress. So how I'm doing this is I'm just folding everything about 1/2 inch seam allowance inwards, and I'm pressing it down with my iron. When I'm done pressing it down with my iron, I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine and I'm going to set my sewing machine to a zigzag stitch, and I'm just going to stitch everything down. Do not panic because you're probably like, where's the slit? Where's the slit? We're gonna add the slit. This is like a little hack to getting a perfect stress-free slit. So let's go ahead and just hem the dress at this point. Remember, we are using a zigzag stitch because we want to maintain the stretch of that. So I'm gonna cut that off. Now, this is how I'm going to do my slit, right? You see how that seam is like open? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch about 1 centimeter away from the center seam, like the seam that we stitched, right? So I'm just gonna go in about 1 centimeter, and quickly I'm just measuring how long I want my slit. You can make your slit super long, you can make it little tiny little cute little slit, right? So now after making that marking, I'm gonna take my dress and take it back to my sewing machine, and remember I said I'm going off of the edge of the original seam that I stitched. I'm going off about like 1 centimeter, a little less than 1 centimeter, and I'm just going to stitch down using a straight stitch. We don't need to use a zigzag stitch for this because it's not going to be stretching at all and it's running vertically. So I'm just stitching, and I'm making sure to catch the seam allowance at the back. When I get to that point, I'm just going to pivot, stitch, back stitch, and then go all the way down again. Remember, I'm just about 1 centimeter away from the edge of the original seam that I've stitched. Now I'm gonna cut the excess off, and I'm gonna grab my thread clippers. Ooh, child. I'm gonna just grab my thread cutter and I'm just going to be opening that seam up a little, because remember I did this using a basic stitch, right? So it's super easy to open it up, and I'm just cutting it open. I'm only cutting the thread, not the actual fabric. I'm just cutting I'm just cutting the thread because I want it to open up, and that is like the easiest and most simplest way to just get a slit done without stressing yourself, because sometimes it can be quite stressful sewing a slit. So I'm cutting up until I get to the start of my slit, and I'm gonna remove any of that excess loose threads that are hanging. So I need to just get them out of your way, and voila, you are done with your slit. Now I'm gonna pre-apologize for this because I didn't notice how off frame I was. So now I'm taking my beautiful sleeves that I've done, and I'm turning them right side out, and I am going to pin them to my lovely dress. Pin them at the armhole, making sure that I'm matching my side seams, I'm matching the back notches, and I'm also matching the front notch. So go ahead, take it to your sewing machine, and then we are going to stitch this part using a serger. No, not a serger, a sewing machine, using a straight stitch. Now remember guys, if you don't have a serger, what you would do at this point is you would stitch it using a straight stitch, and then you're going to cut off the excess seam allowance And I'm going to do that to my other armhole. And when I'm done with this part, because I'm being a little bit extra, I am going to reinforce that seam with my serger, which you don't need to do if you don't have a serger. This project is like non-serger friendly, so I have to keep reiterating. I don't want anyone to feel discouraged, like, oh my goodness, I don't have a serger. No, you can still make this lovely dress and nobody will be able to tell. Okay, now I have my sleeves attached. I'm going to do exactly what I did to just neaten up those threads that are hanging. I'm just going to tuck them under, you know the deal. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my shawl and take the two shoulder sides, put them right sides together, and then I'm just going to stitch at that 1/2 inch seam allowance. When I'm done, I'm just going to fold it again in half, and then what I'm going to do is where I have that seam, I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to make a marking. I'm going to pin to indicate that this is the half. I'm so sorry, I was out of frame. But basically I'm just folding it and then I'm indicating that, okay, this is the half point, and then from there I'm matching up that pin with that center seam that I've already stitched, and I'm going to indicate my quarters on the other sides. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing with my top. I am just matching my armholes together, and I'm just making a marking to say, okay, this is half of the shoulder. I'm taking the two halves of the shoulders and I'm folding it the other way again to indicate my center front and also indicate my center back. Just snip, snip, snip like that. So now I'm going to then pin my shawl onto my shoulder line, and I'm pinning all of the notches accordingly, right? I'm pinning everything according to the quarters, right? So as you are pinning everything, you want to make sure that your shawl piece is actually on the inside of your dress, and make sure that your dress is turned right side out. Put the shawl on the inside and just pin that shoulder line. At this point, we are so close to the finish line. We're just going to be done in the next 10 minutes basically. So just pin everything, and then we're going to take it to our sewing machine and we're going to just complete a straight stitch. Remember, if you wanted to use your serger, you could, but you don't need to for this part because no one is even going to see this because it's going to be folded over, you know. So I'm going to my sewing machine and I'm just stitching. Oh, use a zigzag stitch for this part, right? Use a zigzag stitch because it's going to be stretching and you don't want it to break. So this is where you would be using your straight stitch, your zigzag stitch. I am so sorry, your zigzag stitch. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go, I tried to fit the dress and I was like, oh, I really like it. I wish the shoulder line was a bit, you know, tighter. So I went and I wrapped a little elastic around my shoulders to see how tight I wanted it to be. This is how tight I wanted it to be. This is gonna go according to what you want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide my elastic into quarters like how I did my shawl. And then I'm going to line up each marking with each quarter of the dress. Now I do know that I was a bit out of frame, for this part, and for that I do apologize. But basically you are just making sure that you are distributing everything equally along the elastic. So when you are done pinning everything, you are going to take it to your sewing machine, and as you are stitching, you're going to be stretching your elastic. You're going to notice that it starts to kind of like ruche up, and at this point, do not panic. Do not panic. Everything is 100% okay. When you wear it, it's not gonna show. The whole ruching thing is not gonna be evident. The reason why it's ruching up is because we're making it so tight. But if you wanted to make it like less ruching, obviously you would have to add more elastic, make your elastic a little bit longer. But I was really happy with this. It held everything in place perfectly for me. So it's all up to you. At this point, I had run out of bobbin and I didn't realize it. Don't you just hate it when this happens? Like you're just sewing the perfect like straight line and then boom, there's no bobbin. But anyway, I did go and replace my bobbin and stitch down my elastic. Now I'm going in and I'm hemming my beautiful wrist. And how I'm doing that is I'm just folding it inwards by half an inch, and I'm going to stitch down using my zigzag stitch, and I'm going to do the same thing to my other wrist. And guys, we are actually at the end of our tutorial. How super simple and how super easy and quick was that? Now you literally have yourself the perfect dress for winter. You could wear another shirt under it, but I don't know why you would want to ruin it. But it looks absolutely amazing. Just look at that dress, like it fits perfectly. Also the fabric that I used was a cotton knit fabric. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, please do like, comment, subscribe, and also leave a review on the Etsy store. Let's see how you look in the dress. I absolutely love it. As you can see, I was dancing in it because of how happy I am, and I also like how it fits very freely. It is a bit on the looser side and it fits just absolutely in such a free way, like you just can move freely. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Bye, see you in the next video.